So like of December last year, I think I got sick with the cocoa. I can't say the actual thing if not I get demonetized, so I'm just gonna say cocoa.
Look at that. I posted a community post and everyone said I was pregnant. I'm not pregnant.
And even whilst I was sick, I was still trying to do like the self-improvement habits and everything. I would wake up, even just a little bit. I'll walk over to the window and get like 2 seconds of sunlight before falling onto my bed and then going to throw up. I would eat breakfast, rest for most of the day, I think I just watched a lot of basketball and threw up a lot. Then I would go back to sleep and then wake up in the middle of the night to throw up a lot. Couldn't watch anything for more than an hour before my eyes started burning into my skull. So a lot of the time I just did nothing, which is something we don't get to do a lot of the time. And whilst I was doing nothing, I tried to not get any thoughts. I wanted to just sleep through the whole thing. But the thing is, you inevitably get thoughts, no matter how mindful you are. But the interesting thing is that the thoughts that came to me were like kind of productive. Like if you ever meditated before, right? You know that most of the thoughts aren't productive. Like maybe of every 10 unproductive random thought that you get, one of them is actually pretty good. Like one thought was like, you should make a checklist for your editors so that they can see everything that you need, like standardized in every video. Subtitles, b-roll footage, the quick zoom in and zoom out during the videos just so that people don't get bored and click off. These little things, I could just standardize it and send it to all of them so I don't have to tell them anymore. And they could, every time I record a video and they edit it, they can just look at the list. That's really helpful. And like another thought that I got was like, oh yeah, after this you should track your calories more diligently because you've been sick, you're gonna lose a lot of weight during this time. So you should track your calories so that you can get back on track. That's also pretty helpful. So what I realized is that our brains already kind of know what to do. We just don't give ourselves enough time to think. We don't give our brain the space and time to tell us what it already knows. The most successful people in the world are great thinkers. But nowadays, nobody allocates time to think. Like, it's funny how we all agreed with what I just said, that all the successful people are great thinkers. Of course they are, right? You think about Albert Einstein, think about Thomas Edison in their rocking chair, just thinking, pondering the secrets of the universe and trying to discover and invent new things. Of course. But we don't do it ourselves. We don't spend time to just think. Even though we know that thinking is probably like the greatest pastime of successful people. So imagine Albert Einstein was about to think of E equals MC squared. It's about to pop into his head. And then he just gets a notification on his fucking phone, like some Instagram and notification. That's what's happening to a lot of people in the world. I know it sounds stupid, but that probably happened at least once today already. You were about to get a good thought, but then you distracted yourself, so you didn't get that thought. Like, that saying of think twice? Most of us don't even think once. Billionaires like Bill Gates have dedicated think weeks. Like, he goes into the mountains, into a cabin, just to read, sleep, think, and just ponder deep questions. He probably makes like hundreds of thousands of dollars a day. He makes millions of dollars a week. And he's spending a week. Think of how expensive his week is. He's spending that week just to think. That's because he knows that that week of thinking is worth more than millions of dollars, because he could get some good ideas that he can implement in the future to make even more money. Like, bro, I promise you, every day, each person probably gets 5 good thoughts. So across the whole world, that's billions of great ideas. But probably 90% of those ideas never get realized because they never hear those ideas. The idea is trying to make itself heard in your brain, but you're distracting yourself with social media, with other things that are louder than it, so you can't hear it. It's being drowned out by the noise of distractions. So here's a practice that you can do literally after this video to get your thoughts in order. And it's not the conventional advice of, just meditate, bro. I don't meditate. I've not meditated in a while. I'm very open about that because I think there's a big cult on self-improvement videos where it's like, you need to do certain activities, you need to gratitude journal, you need to meditate. But I could never get consistent meditation. I can stick with every other habit except for meditation. So what I've done recently is I've just replaced meditation with another habit, actually 2 other habits. The first one is breathwork. Breathwork is the breathing side of meditation, basically. It's where you breathe consciously. And then alongside breathwork, I also do this thing which I'm now calling think time. This is like the one habit that we're all gonna start doing, alright? Piggy promised me, alright? Think time. 5 minutes a day. It doesn't need to be a lot of time, right? It can be 1 minute, 10 minutes. Turn everything off, like genuinely turn it off. Like hold down the power button and swipe the thing. Don't just press the power button once. That's not actually being turned off. Or you can just disconnect the Wi-Fi for a while and just think for 10 minutes and have a piece of paper or something to jot down your thoughts. And this is time for me to let my brain tell me the thoughts that it's been wanting to tell me, but I've been too distracted focusing on something else. Basically, just replicate the same environment in your room as if you had the cocoa. what would you do? You would have everything off, you would be just chilling, it would be painful to even do anything other than think. So that's what we just want to think. Give your brain the space and it'll tell you the things that you already know. And so you're sitting there with every thought that you get. I want you to have this mindset. Think, is this thought actually helpful? Because a lot of the thoughts we get aren't actually helpful. A thought about the bully from secondary school or primary school, is that helpful? Probably not. No, that's just a bad memory. A thought about the homework that I have to do, that's probably helpful. I should probably go do that. Then imagine you write that down. Okay, I should go do the homework. Then you think about another thought. Video games. Okay, that's probably not very helpful. And then your brain tells you about the homework again. Like, okay, I already wrote that down, brain. Relax. But the thing is, if your brain keeps telling you you should probably do the homework, you should probably fucking do the homework. You will get thoughts that are like sparks of little ideas, and you want to write them down so that you can expand them, so that you don't lose them just by forgetting. It's like when you start a fire, there's always that little spark, that little ember, and you have to fan it to keep you alive. This is basically zero input, all output. You're just trying to output stuff. You're not trying to get anything in. You're not letting any information get into you. We need times in our day where we can just think, write down on paper, on a Notion template, on Notes app, get a fucking quill and paper, etch it into your wall with a knife, etch it into your Notion template with a knife. It doesn't fucking matter. Just have a way to write things down. Why did the sun go away? And what I found is that the more you do this practice and the more you remove technology and distractions in your life, the better you get at filtering out those thoughts that aren't actually helpful, if that makes sense. So right now, if you're a complete beginner, you've never done this before, you'll get 10 bad thoughts and then one good thought at the end, like one productive thought, right? If you do this for a month, you'll get 5 negative thoughts and then 5 good thoughts. You went from 10 to 1 to 5 to 5, which is a big jump. You just get better at analyzing your own thoughts instead of becoming the thought and thinking and expanding on those thoughts that aren't actually useful, which is most of our thoughts. Most of our thoughts aren't actually useful. And this is what most people do. They get a negative thought and they become the thought. They think about it, they expand on it, and they give it power by thinking about it, and then they wonder why most of their thoughts are negative. Whilst if we do this consistently, we get good at analyzing our own thoughts and stopping ourselves before we go down that spiral of negative thinking. Like, we've never thought of thinking as a skill that we can level up. Not like, business. Oh yeah, you can level up. You can see the money going up. With fitness, you can see the weights in the gym go up. You can see your body change. But with thinking, you can't really see the difference. So most people never level it up. So by having dedicated think times or by doing meditation, we increase the skill of awareness and mindfulness. And so we're able to observe the thought and not become the thought. If you've ever meditated, then you know what I'm talking about. So I always say this. If you're gonna play basketball, don't practice football. If you're on performance day, you're gonna go play the piano on stage, don't practice the violin. So if you want to be a good thinker, you don't practice by doing anything else except the thing itself, which is thinking. So we need to practice thinking. We need to specifically block out time in our day to practice it. The same way a basketballer goes to training, the same way a pianist goes to practice. Do nothing. And the more you do this and you jot down your thoughts, the more you realize that you actually have most of the answers in your brain. You just couldn't listen to them because we distract ourselves too much. So yeah, take action. So yeah, go plan your think time. I like to put mine before I sleep because when I sleep, at least, I don't just fall on the pillow and sleep like immediately. I think a lot, I ruminate a lot, and I think about you start planning like a fucking novel in your head for some reason. So instead of that, just write down everything you're thinking about before you sleep so that during your sleeping time, you don't have any thoughts to ruminate about because they are all already put on paper, so you don't have to worry about that. Yeah, that's the thing about me. I always worry about forgetting a good idea, and then I keep thinking about it and I'm obsessing over it so that I don't forget it because it could spiral and expand into a very big thing. So writing things down completely gets rid of that, because if I forget, it's fine because it's already written on paper. Alright, give me a kiss. Mwah. Yo, really quick, if you like my advice and you want more, you can get more in my private community, Rough Club. I do multiple calls a week in there. I have courses. I just spent a couple weeks working on a YouTube course that I'm super proud of. I do community posts. I spend a couple hours in there every single day. It's kind of like my hub, right? So I won't try selling you too much right now. If you want to support me or you just want more from me, you can go click the first thing in the description right now to learn more. If not, that's completely fine because all the YouTube videos are still here for free for your value. Give me a kiss.